I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by The Human Bean, located in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm excited to be with Lieutenant now, Jeffrey Winn.
Hello, how are you today?
Now I've got to readjust my vocabulary. First Lieutenant Palmer went to Chief, and now you've gone from Sergeant to Lieutenant. Let's talk a little bit about that exciting news.
Yeah, well, that July 1 of last year, they promoted me to the Administrative Lieutenant. So a lot of my duties now, taking over some things that the sergeants were doing so that they could be out, get them more out with the patrol officers where they can do some direct supervision. And also I'm helping Lieutenant Broderick, who's the operations commander, with some of the items that he had on his plate, and kind of taking a little bit up from both worlds and putting them on one plate so that it's done by someone who's here during the weekdays, and it clears some of his plate for his meetings to be able to go to, and it clears some of the sergeants' plates so that they can go ahead and be out with their patrol officers and working directly with them, so directly supervising them. So that's been a really good thing.
And you are broadcasting from a beautiful new building. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're in our brand new building. We moved in, I think it was September of 2020. We moved into the building here, and it's gorgeous. We're so pleased with it and tickled that the city allowed us to get it built, and it's much bigger, and technology in it for the future, for now and the future, is upgraded. The old building had been built in 1980, and so technology wise, we had wires all over the place trying to run computers and do things like that. So now we're top of the line technology to help us now and into the future. So it's really a blessed thing to be in here. It's wonderful.
You have some more space available to you, I understand.
Right, it's significantly bigger than our old building, so we have a lot more space. Our evidence retention area is larger and more secure, and of course, there's office space for more personnel. We have a larger space for the detectives division, and a larger space for the patrol officers for their report writing and storage of their equipment, and storage of vehicles, and storage of vehicle equipment and other equipment. So it's significantly bigger. And one of the best features of it is the conference room that we have. We're going to be able to put on different training classes here. We'll sponsor them, and our officers will be able to go to those training classes. It'll be a money-saving thing for the department, for the city. They'll be able to go to these training classes without incurring the costs of motel rooms, food out, that sort of thing. And so we're really looking forward to that. We haven't been able to do a lot of them yet. We've had one so far, and as soon as COVID is over, I think we'll be reaching out to try to do more training, sponsor more training here. So the conference room, it can hold probably comfortably 40 people. It probably holds 60 if you crammed them in, but comfortably 40.
And you also have some new additions, or a new addition, I should say, to your patrol team.
We have it. We haven't got to. Yes, Nix. We haven't got to introduce her yet. Some people might know that she was the one of the patrol dogs, canine dogs, that the Lincoln County had, and they unfortunately, their handler took a job at a different location, and they didn't have a handler for Nix. And so they contacted us and offered Nix to us. And we said, yeah, we'll take her. And we also purchased their canine patrol vehicle that Nix was in already. And so we have got another patrol dog. And right now they are Nix and her new handler, Cody Snidow, Officer Snidow, are in training. So they're doing all their training to get certified so they can be out on patrol. And as it stands now, they'll be out on patrol in about it'll be after next week. So they'll be done with their training and together, and they'll be out on patrol together. So we'll have 2 canines for the department. We'll have Nix, and of course we have NATO, which we got a little over a year ago, and his handler, Molly Sears, is currently unfortunately out on an injury, but NATO is anxiously awaiting to get back to work, I'm sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance of having the canines in the police department.
Well, the main feature of these dogs is that they're patrol dogs, but they're trackers. So we can track suspects, and more importantly, we can use the dogs to track missing persons down on the beach or in our wooded areas, those type of things. And they're just an additional resource for those officers when they're out on the road. We may not have the personnel to have a cover officer, but they have a cover officer because they have their canine. So that they provide a whole lot of functions for that. And there's a deterrent when there's a canine, on a scene. So there's that function too, but mainly it was to be able to track and apprehend, and then also track missing persons and that type of thing.
And you work collaboratively with the other police agencies in Lincoln County, both as far as, helping out other officers, but if they need to use a canine, correct?
That's correct. Before we got our canine, of course, we relied heavily on Lincoln County Sheriff's Office for their canines. And they always came up and assisted us, sent their canines when we needed it. So we're going to do the same for them and have our canines available. And we also have made our canines available to other agencies if they call in and they need it, and we can get a canine there to help them, area. And I say area, I mean, fairly local, but we've gone all the way up into Tillamook County to assist them. So, Tillamook County, Newport, Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, if they need a canine and we can get one of our canines to them, and one of theirs is not available because the Sheriff's Office still has a canine, we will assist them. And that way also they're all training together. So all the canines, once Molly and NATO are back on in service, then we'll have Molly and NATO and Canine Nix and Officer Snidow. They'll be out training with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and a couple other departments that are further away, but they train together. So.
And you're in the process of looking for additional officers, is that correct?
That's correct. We're going to be having our next oral boards for officer applicants coming up on the 3rd of March. And hopefully we have 7 applicants that we're going to be testing, I guess, is how if you want to put it that way, or oral boarding and looking at. And we have 1 vacancy right now that we can fill. And then we have an officer who is looking, we know that he's applying out, and he's got some applications at different other agencies that he wants to go work at. His family has moved, and so he wants to be close to his family, which is reasonable. And so we're anticipating another vacancy there. And so we're going to be probably looking for two in this application process, or if, you know, we don't get any applicants that are qualified or that meet the standard, then we'll open it up and continue to take applications. So we currently are kind of in a staffing crisis because we have 5 officers that are out on injury leave. 2 of them have been out very long term. So we're hoping to get those situations resolved with getting them back on the road and getting them back to work, and all of our other injured ones back on duty, and then we'll be in a little bit better shape.
Are you facing the same hiring challenges as others are in Lincoln County with lack of housing and childcare?
That is one of our biggest challenges in not only getting applicants, but in retaining folks that we hire. Their ability to buy a house or get into some kind of residence is what makes it difficult for them to stay if we can get them hired. And if there's no housing available, some of the applicants say, well, you know, I would like to come there and go to work, but there's no housing. And we get them hired and they can't find housing, then they leave and go to places where they can afford housing. So that is a concern for us that we're trying to address in different ways. Of course, we're, you know, always open if folks have houses for rent that they want to rent, that type of thing. And so, you know, through all of our people that work here that know people out in the local area, just trying to find them places where they can rent that are good and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's one of the problems. I think that's probably a problem, not just for us, but it's a problem statewide, and I don't know about nationwide for that, but statewide. And then that's also a problem for other employers in our area.
All right, Lieutenant Winn, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. Just to remind everybody that, you know, we're having like this morning was quite cold, so we're lucky it wasn't wet. So we're still in winter weather, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it. So just remind everybody to have all their caution, that they can drive with caution and care, and have a little bit of patience for when our weekends, when we have a lot of people here, and that will go a long ways to keeping traffic crashes down and injuries down.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Winn, for giving us an update on the Lincoln City Police Department. We appreciate it. And thanks for joining me for Coffee with Kiera, again sponsored by Winn in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101, and there in Lincoln City on the west side of the highway at the north end, on the west side by TLC Credit Union. For Oregon Coast Breaking News, I'm Kiera Morgan.
Thank you, Kiera.